Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Milestone and my channel is all about finding your passion, fulfilling your potential and achieving your goals. This is another episode of my Made It series where I interview people from different backgrounds, different fields. They tell us how they came up and hopefully it will help inspire you. And today I'm joined by a young entrepreneur who started an incredibly successful business and who's also giving back to the community. It's Christian Facey. Christian, thank you for joining me today.
Really great to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. So Christian, could you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm Christian. I'm the founder of AudioMob, background in Google. I was a strategist, managed $100 million. I was at Facebook as a science partner. Idea was born from a passion of developing my own mobile games and my own hip hop and jazz music. I like J Dilla, Madlib, and I produced that kind of music as well. I started streaming the music into the games I was making. Met my co-founder Wilfred, who's ex-Google engineer, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. We started streaming audio ads instead of music. And now we've stumbled upon a multi-billion-dollar idea, which is AudioMob. I was born in London. A lot of my childhood was a mix between London and the countryside, Bedfordshire. And in terms of family makeup, my heritage, I'm half Jamaican and half Vincentian. And for those of you that don't know, St. Vincent, Vincentians, it's an island in the Caribbean as well.
Amazing. So much to unpack there. Can we just talk about your business a little bit? So for everyone watching, can you just tell us what your business does in sort of, just really simple terms?
Simple terms is, I'm sure a lot of you have played mobile games or have used apps where you get those intrusive video ads. Yeah, they're a bit annoying. The idea with AudioMob is that you can choose to listen to an ad instead of watching a video that blocks your experience. As everyone knows, you need to be monetized with ads in order to use these apps for free. This lets you keep using the app for free while listening to an audio ad rather than, stopping doing what you're doing and watching that video. So it's a non-intrusive ad platform.
That's a brilliant idea. I play a lot of mobile games myself and those video ads can be very disruptive. So I think that's a brilliant idea. Obviously it's doing very well. But Kristen, can you tell us, did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Was that always a passion of yours?
Yes, from the point of maybe when I was 16. So when I was younger, I used to think that I wanted to be an architect, that I wanted to be a scientist. So I had lots of different things. And when I was 16, 17, failed all my A-levels, and I was thinking, okay, I've got to figure out how my mind works. What do I really want to do? I just always had a draw towards doing entrepreneurial things. Like my first business was an events business for under 18s. It was when I was, I think I launched that at 16, 17. And then I used the profits from that to try and do something for myself, foreign exchange trading. So I've always had that as a late teen, that drive to try and do something entrepreneurial.
How big a part would you say your family played in inspiring you to start? Did their success give you confidence in what you could achieve?
So one thing I've realized, we at AudioMob, we opened up a mentorship scheme off the back of, what happened with George Floyd. And it's really important to not let these things that you see, people look like you in the news, not important to not let those negative things that you see be internalized in a negative way. And what we're finding is, we're getting people from Oxford and Cambridge and people about to do a JP Morgan internship and they're lacking the confidence. And for me, I would say I have lots and lots of different mentors, individuals I look up to, but I'd say the first influential people are definitely my dad. Put it this way, he's a former software engineer and he's worked on some technologies that I am not allowed to speak about. So that kind of high level, deep tech. And then he crossed over to become a proprietary trader. And I've always seen, figures that look like me, like my dad, as highly successful, highly intelligent people. And then my uncle as well, former software engineer at UBS, one of the world's top, banks or investment banks. And I've always seen, Black figures that look like me as successful figures in the home. And I think it's really important that, more people that, look like us that are doing things need to be seen more because I've never really had that viewpoint that there was a disadvantage to looking like me going out in the world, because I've always seen that from since I was born. So that's definitely a privilege that I've grown up with.
Wow, that is so powerful, and I couldn't agree more with what you said there. I think seeing people like you that are successful from a young age can have such an impact, and we definitely need to be seen more. And that's why I started this show. So if you're enjoying the content, subscribe below because I've got lots more of this to come. But Christian, if we go back a little bit before you started the business, what were you doing?
Before I started the business, so immediately before, I was at Facebook. I was a science partner, and shortly before that, I was at Google. So yeah, I was working for some pretty good companies, constantly skilling myself up, figuring out, how do I become an entrepreneur? So then this is outside of the day job. So obviously I was doing that well, and I was learning, the ins and outs of digital marketing ecosystems, how they work. But outside of work, I'll be constantly reading, like, Steve Jobs couldn't code. How the hell did he persuade some of the best engineers in history to build out his vision? And I was reading up on figures and figures such as Steve Jobs. And I was also, going to hackathons, and I was really trying to figure out how to get a company off the ground, how to get into incubators, accelerators, etc. So I was doing a lot before I took the plunge.
When did you first come up with a business idea? Like, how did that idea come about in your head?
So the idea was a pivot to a passion that I was trying to figure out. So, like, a lot of people are trying to, find something to work on, trying to find the passion, right? And I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do, so I just tried to do everything. I tried to do foreign exchange trading, a bot, a drop shipping business, a gambling affiliate site, a charity business to help people get into Google. Like, I tried like so many different things, and then one day I was thinking, okay, I love music and I love to play video games. What are the most productive things that I could do instead of, playing hours of Call of Duty, which I do every now and then. But anyway, I decided to, so I decided to start developing my own games. Couldn't code, so I found a pseudocode. It's called Stencil, where I started dragging the blocks and opening them up and things like that. And then I was like, okay, I'd love to be able to make a game where I could promote music producers, because I absolutely love music. So I started, really getting that together. And that was what spawned the idea of how to manipulate audio and plug it into a game. And I remember playing a game. I can't remember what the name of the game was that spawned this idea of promoting musicians into games. I really like the background music, which is rare for a game, a mobile game anyway. And I tried to find out more about the artist, and I found out that when the artist got into this game, he blew up, this DJ. And I was thinking, there's got to be a more effective way of promoting that artist where I could just click through when I hear it. And the first concept I came up with was a jukebox, which was streaming music into games. And then from that, when, we were trying to figure out, okay, could this get investment? Is it worth pursuing? That's when we started realizing that audio ads could be the answer.
Wow. Yeah, it's awesome how you tapped into such a unique market with such sort of creative thinking. So that's brilliant. But I guess with any business, you're bound to face challenges along the way. What challenges did you face, and what made you stay persistent throughout those challenges?
If you were to Google AudioMob right now, or myself and my co-founder, you're going to see news, because we had a good press run over the last 6 months in terms of, Forbes 30 under 30, Billboard, etc. And what is really, really important to realize is that with every positive bit of news, or with every case study that we release, or every bit of revenue that we get, beforehand, there was like 50 to 100 no's, probably more than that. So we had to go through a lot of no's. And the core challenge to raising an idea is, I think it's twofold. So the first one is, how can I prove that this idea is worth pursuing and getting investment and, rallying a team around? And how should that validation be structured? Is it a deck? Is it a spreadsheet? Is it loads of bullet points? Like, I was once a greenhorn, and I had no idea how to attract an investment. So figuring out how to get that off the ground, it actually took me like a year to figure out. The first port of call was to go to hackathons, and then you meet investors and engineers and things like that. So I won't go into too much, but the main challenge was finding out how to structure the validation that could lead to building a team or getting an investment. And the second thing is, okay, you've got an idea. How can I build a team around this? And again, this is kind of linked to the validation. So building validation to get your initial team is actually easier than building validation to get the investor, right? Because you need to build a team, then you get the investment. So that was the second challenge, figuring out how I can command the respect and persuade an engineer with 20 years of experience to work for equity for an idea that doesn't exist. And again, this is why I was reading up a lot on Steve Jobs and how he did it in the beginning. So those are some of the challenges. The thing that kept me persistent, and there were a lot of failures in terms of, failing to get investment, losing most of my team members and going back and forth, is as a budding entrepreneur, a greenhorn entrepreneur, when you've got a good idea and you at least know how to do the elevator pitch, maybe you've got a little deck or something like that on the concept, you'll be surprised what rooms a good idea can get you into, right? Whether it's an investor's office or a hackathon, or off the extension of a hackathon, maybe another entrepreneur. Maybe you can buy half an hour with a senior advisor or a wealthy individual. So I kept getting into these rooms, and then I kept getting no's. Sometimes I'd get a bit of help or an introduction, but I kept overall getting no's in terms of getting the investment. But I was able to iterate on the concept and the deck and the way I was pitching the concept every single no that I got. So I was thinking, because like any entrepreneur, right, I thought there could be a point where I might want to just give up, but then I was thinking, but I'm still getting into these rooms, there's something there, I just need to keep iterating on what I'm doing. And that for me was really important point in terms of keeping me going. The other part of that, though, is I have a stubborn, almost crazy, well, to some people, crazy level of determination, because I knew if this idea wasn't going to work, that I was going to work on another one anyway, because I really wanted to build my own business. So there's that fundamental layer of crazed motivation to start a business that also obviously helps you keep going.
No, that's brilliant. So yeah, a real strong will and the ability to use every failure as a learning opportunity and then tweaking it until you get that right answer that you want. That's brilliant. And you touched on it earlier as well, Christian, but you know what? For any new business, securing funding is essential to growth. We know that that's a fact. How was that journey for you when you secured that first piece of investment? So what helped and what hindered you along the way?
In terms of what hindered me, I would say it was a lack of saving, so I could concentrate on it with more people. So I could really, hire some people with some savings and rally a whole team around it. Because it's always a difficulty going directly to VCs first rather than angels. And looking back, maybe that's something that that would have helped. I'm glad that I didn't, though, because I and my co-founder Wilfred own a lot of the company compared to other founders at this stage. That being said, definitely not having that initial friends and family round, as you call it, so 50 to 100K, that definitely was a hindrance. But like with any stage of a startup, early stage anyway, like if you go through a lot of pain, it will exponentially benefit you later, whether that's ownership or revenues or quality of the team or whatnot. So that was the main hindrance. In terms of the thing that really helped, and I wish I could tell my past self to concentrate on this maybe a year sooner, it's making the first pound. So I quote my close friend of mine, Edward De Petrucci, right? He raised money internally at BT and he's gone on to do great things. And I was telling him like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to like 50K when I do this. And he's like, the idea sounds great, the pitch sounds great. You need to concentrate on making the first pound. So rather than investing my savings in a team where we can get the bigger deals and all this kind of stuff in order to justify to the investor that, hey, okay, we brought in 20, 30, 40, 50K. Content's great, give us some money. I was like, okay, I'm going to leave Facebook. I'm going to really concentrate on getting these investors and really educating myself, and Wilfred educating himself on how we pitch these investors. But I'm going to invest all my savings into what is necessary to make that first pound. So it's finding that small advertiser that's no one ever heard of before, and that small game that no one has ever heard of before, and linking the two to create the first audio ad into a mobile game. And once I proved I could make that first pound, we raised our first $1 million with under £100 in revenue.
Wow, that is incredible. What advice would you give to any aspiring entrepreneurs out there that want to start and set up their own business?
Working on something you're passionate about, most people will say that is key. What I would say, though, is that if you, like anything else, and again, I can talk for hours about this, but I mentioned beforehand how I failed with my A-levels, learned how my mind works, etc. I did that through trial and error. The way you get good at something, whether it's marketing or sales or whatever it is you practice, right? So sitting around and trying to think of, what is that idea that I could work on? What is the thing that I'm passionate about? It works for some people. But for me, I worked on like 5 business ideas, and I thought I was going to start a game studio. Then I thought I was going to start a music streaming company into games, and now it's AudioMob. So it's just, if you don't know like what you're passionate about, practice at how to start businesses. Even if it's not something that you're fond of, but it could be a money maker, for instance, like a little business, just start practicing how to generate income. Now, every single business that I attempted to didn't make any revenue, including the music streaming thing. But now it led to AudioMob, and all those learnings from making those businesses helped me realize how I could see opportunities in something I was passionate about. As I mentioned, making games, making music, streaming in, and then I found the opportunity combined with the expertise I learned from my day job. So if you don't know what to work on, just work on something and it will help you find the right thing to work on. And I don't hear a lot of people giving that advice, but from my experience, it works like a charm.
Wow, that is so inspirational. Some real gems there. I hope you're taking notes, everyone watching. So Christian, as a successful entrepreneur, a role model for lots of young people watching as well, can you tell us what you've done to try to make a positive impact on the community and how you helped them grow and sort of share that knowledge and experience that you've gained?
Over the last number of years, I don't consider, what I've done and the AudioMob team has done over the last couple of years as a 2-year journey. For me, this has been a 10-year journey since I was 17. Like, I was thinking, how can I develop myself to be an entrepreneur? I asked for mentors. I asked for a lot of help, a lot of favors, knowing that being in the position of someone that isn't influential or knowledgeable, how knowledgeable is a 10-year-old going into the digital marketing realm for the first time. These people didn't expect anything in return, and there's people that give back. And I've always thought about that. And we decided to incorporate that in AudioMob. Like, outside of the mentorship scheme I'm about to describe, people reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'll help them. Now, can I help them 10 minutes after they ping? No. A couple of days afterwards, if I find some time? Yes, because I feel it's really important to give back and not expect anything in return. And the mentorship scheme we spun out at AudioMob, so off the back of George Floyd, again, terrible situation last year, we designed a scheme that helps 18 to 25-year-olds that belonging to an ethnic minority group. We mentor them as to how to potentially shift their mindset or adapt their mindset, help them through a career path, whether it's to do with interviewing, starting a business. It's basically a mentorship scheme where we tailor it to the individual, and we pass down all of our experience, and in a very candid way as well, because again, the world is it's a difficult place to start a business in or to achieve your goals. And the caveat to that is that we have tailored this to ethnic minorities, but we've actually opened it to anyone. So there are many seen and unseen things that can make people believe that there is a ceiling, right? And for ethnic minorities specifically, we have tailored this to anyone. So there are many seen and unseen things that can make people believe that there is a ceiling, right? And for ethnic minorities specifically, we have tailored this to anyone. So there are many seen and unseen things that can make people believe that there is a ceiling, right? And for ethnic minorities specifically, we have tailored the mentorship scheme to get around that mindset, so it doesn't seem like such of a hindrance, this invisible ceiling. But then if anyone from any other culture, whether they're a cisgendered a white male or whatever, like if they come and ask us for help, we're going to give it to them as well. And I think that's a really important point as well. Like, obviously, we really want to try and help people belonging to ethnic minority groups. That there are people that are successful, and there is a way to do it. But anyone that asks for help will help them as well.
Brilliant. Wow. So yeah, we'll try to add links to that program in the description so you can check it out. But that's a wonderful program and a brilliant initiative that you're running there. I guess just to wrap up, Christian, can you tell people how they can connect with you and find you online?
Type in Christian Facey on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find. There's only 2 of us, I think. So yeah, Christian Facey on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me directly, ping me. Or you can reach out on the AudioMob website. Just search for the mentoring tab and apply for a mentorship. I'm really am open to helping anyone that reaches out.
Love it. Christian, thank you so much for talking to me today and sharing such wonderful nuggets there for us all to take away. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment below if you've got any questions for Christian or if you want to see more content like this. And if you haven't already, subscribe because I've got lots more content to come. So thanks for watching and let's keep chasing those goals.